All right, good morning. Like we promised, we are yet on the other side of the Good Morning Anambra show this morning, and we have an interesting topic that we'll be exploring. We are looking at radiographers seeing the unseen. Of course, we are joining the world all over to commemorate the 2024 World Radiography Day. And the theme for this year is promoting the profession. And of course, I'm not a professional. I'm just here as a journalist to talk to professionals in this particular field to tell us what radiographers do, how they operate, and things like that. Of course, this is a special episode today on Good Morning Anambra that is dedicated to celebrating World Radiography Day 2024. And we are going to shine a spotlight on the remarkable professionals who play a crucial role yet unseen role in healthcare. We are talking about the radiographers. So join us this morning as we explore their vital contributions, showcase their skills, and also commemorate the day and the impact of radiography on modern medicine. We have in the studios of Anambra Broadcasting Service this morning Honorable Tony Mobike. He is a member representing Agwata 2 constituency and also Chairman, Health Committee, Anambra State House of Assembly. Glad to have you on the show this morning.
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers.
We also have Chief Ben Ezeme. He is the Medical Director, Evidence-Based Diagnostics, ORCA. Chief Ben, glad to have you on Good Morning, Anambra.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay, like we said earlier that, of course, today is World Radiography Day, and we are going to be looking at a whole lot, what radiographers do and how they have been, viewed in this part of the world and so many other things. So let's start with you, Honorable. Let's look at, because it seems like a lot of people are no longer interested in studying this course in the university. Let's start from there. What are the requirements to study radiography in a higher institution?
Yeah, before I delve into the requirements like you asked, I want to correct the impression that a lot of people are no longer interested in studying this. I think the opposite is actually the reality today. The enrollment into the profession in universities today has quadrupled from what it was probably like a decade ago. And then if you look at what it was, at the time most of us were in the university, I think the enrollment has actually skyrocketed, if I will use that word. So what we have today is that more people are going to the profession because people are beginning to realize the importance of that profession in the society. Now, coming to your question, the requirement for studying radiography in the university today in Nigeria is it's not that cumbersome. I think almost all the universities require the student having credits in English, mathematics, physics, chemistry, and biology. It is a very, very, of course, like it's a science-based medical course.
Sure.
So physics, chemistry, biology, English, and maths are the basic requirements, plus that the student has to take JAMB. Of course, universities admission is regulated by the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board. So it must have taken JAMB and then must have made the cutoff mark for the university of choice.
Okay. Anyway, you have already established that a lot of people are going to the profession. Well, glad to hear that. But then again, because we still need more people to be in that profession, as we still need more awareness for people to understand the importance of this particular course and profession. How can the radiography profession be promoted to our younger ones, of course, those people that are in the secondary school, before they talk about going into higher institution? Because it's while we are in secondary school, that's where you actually decide on what you want to study, the course you want to study in the university. And if they don't, have the knowledge of what radiography is all about, they might find it difficult to say, this is what I want to do when I get to the university.
Okay, thank you, moderator. The best thing is to reach out to those schools that are the secondary school young ones. Because I am also aware that most people are not aware of this very profession. Because radiography, some people would mistake us to be medical doctors. Some will say we are lab scientists. or other profession in the body. So radiography is a standalone profession, which means radiography needs us or everybody to go into the secondary schools and other institutions to showcase the course, because it is awareness, reorientating our people. We have to do more to tell others that this course is actually a standalone course in field of medicine, and they are a good course, so that after reading the course, you will be very vital, you will be very needed in health profession, just like myself and Honorable, all of us go to university. And today, we are not regretting joining the profession.
All right. Now, that brings me to the question who a radiographer is. Honorable, this question is directed to you. Who is a radiographer or medical scientist, right? I'm correct? Okay, so medical imaging scientist, right? And what do they do? I mean, what do they actually do? Tell us about the profession, radiography.
Oh, well, radiography is a profession. Radiographers are professionals who practice radiography. So I think that brings me to say what exactly is radiography. Okay. So radiography is an imaging technique. Okay. Whereby X-rays, gamma rays, and other ionizing form of radiation, things we call ionizing radiation, and non-ionizing radiation, are used to visualize the inner parts of an object. So radiography has different modalities. You have industrial radiography, you have medical radiography. So when we talk about medical radiography, which is what most people practice in the hospitals, you talk about medical diagnostic radiography, which is the use of X-rays, ultrasound, and other forms of ionizing and non-ionizing radiation to diagnose illnesses in the body and view the human body. Okay, and then you also have therapeutic radiography, where you use high doses of radiation to cure, like what you do in oncology, in cancer treatment. Okay, then when you move away from that, you also talk about industrial radiography, where radiography is applied in the industry. So like in the airports, if you talk about using scanners, okay, to search and detect for things like people who carry drugs and all those things. Okay, that's forensic radiography in airports. You also have radiography being used in industry, like carbon dating, to find out age of objects. Like you're able to detect objects that are up to 1,000 years old that predates our own existence. You use X-rays to do that. You also use X-rays to do so many other things, like in mining, in so many things where you can apply radiography. So basically, a radiographer is one who is involved in this profession. So it now depends on what part of it you are. Okay. Like people who do what you call non-destructive testing in the industry, like in welding. Okay, being able to detect leaks in weld. We call it NDT. That is a form of industrial radiography. So it's a very, very vast field, but the most important thing is that you must be trained as a radiographer in that specific field because of the dangers and risks involved in dispensing radiation. If you're not a professional, you could practice this in the wrong way and pose a danger to yourself and to people around you.
So it means that when you want to study a radiography as a course, you must specify the one you want to do, industrial radiography or the clinical radiography.
Oh, well, what we basically study at university today is medical radiography. Medical radiography. So, and it's always there. It's either they call it medical imaging technology, medical radiography, but it has to be medical. That's why you always see them embedded within the medical department in the United States.
All right, let's come back to you now. As a radiographer, how do you promote this profession in your clinical practice?
Okay, before I come to your this particular question, I would like to chip in something on what my colleague said. Yes, radiography, you study the basic fundamental in the university before you now digress into your specialties. You must, first of all, become a radiographer before you can say you want to become a therapeutic, industrial, or whatever aspect of radiography, just like every other profession. Yeah. So that is to say that what you must do as somebody who wants to become a therapeutic radiographer is that you must, first of all, acquire the degree as a radiographer. Then from there, you can go ahead to study your own specialty. So on your question, the second question you asked, how can we promote this radiography in our clinics?
Yes.
It's simple. You, as a radiographer, have a duty to your patients. You have to take care of your patients. For myself, as an example, I own a diagnosis center here in Oka. If I am not doing well, if I don't do very well, I will see cartoonize. So one thing about being a radiographer is that you must appear as a professional. You must deal with all your patients with every sense of responsibility, that whatever you do, you are responsible for that. For example, you are a radiographer, you want a patient to you that the patient needs to be done X-ray or ultrasound. Being a radiographer, you have that duty to the patient to diligently carry out that specific request and give them the required report, so that when they are treating the patient, that result will help in managing the patient. So how we promote it in our various clinics is that we diligently carry out our duties. Of course, there's no other profession that replaces radiography in our field. In the field of medicine, we are called the eye of the medicine. So we see inside the body and we bring out the reports. For example, somebody who has a baby inside the womb has to go through ultrasound. A radiographer will do the ultrasound and be able to tell the midwife or a doctor that this baby is actually two inside the womb, or that this baby has this kind of problem inside the womb. So once the baby comes out, they start preparing for postnatal management. So a radiographer has a role in healthcare profession, and that role is what we promote in order for people to know us. And being a radiographer, you must own that you are a radiographer. For example, in my clinics, they will come and say, Doctor this, Doctor that. I told them bluntly that I am a radiographer.
Okay, so are you also trained to prescribe drugs?
Yes, in the field of medicine, there are borrowed costs, but it doesn't make you have that full right to start prescribing. Once a patient comes to your clinic from a referring clinician, your duty is to give them the result and tell them to meet the referrer. It is now when a patient comes from your own, maybe they don't even know what is wrong with them, they come to your clinics and tell you, doctor or whoever, whatever they call you, I'm having this kind of thing. You are in charge. You will, first of all, know the kind of diagnosis it has to go through. And when you discover the diagnosis, you refer the person to whoever that is supposed to take care of the person. That's our role.
Okay. A little bit away. Okay, you want to add something?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Let me add something to what you see, drug prescription doesn't really fall within the scope of the radiographer.
Okay.
Okay. The job of the radiographer is to get involved in the diagnostics and then make reports.
Okay.
Okay. So, like he said, if the patient was referred, if it's a private diagnostic clinic and the patient was referred from a doctor or from a hospital, the role of the radiographer is to perform the exam diligently and adequately as required, and then refer the patient back to the referring clinician. Okay? And then if it's a private patient, maybe the patient just presents on his or her own to the diagnostic clinic. After the exam, it is the role of the radiographer to refer him or her to the appropriate clinician, who will then start to prescribe and take over the clinical management.
Okay. All right. How are you radiographers? How are you addressed? Because we know, like, this is away from what we are saying. This is, you see, like pharmacists, they say chioma, doctor. Is it radiographer?
Rad.
Tony or radiographer? I just wanted to know. Okay. Rad.
R-A-D.
R-A-D. Okay. Rad. Okay. Okay, I just wanted to know. All right, quickly, let's...
Yeah, let me also say something.
Okay.
See, in this part of the world, people are so much interested in acronyms.
Yes.
Names. Okay. It doesn't really have much relevance. You know, like when you talk about how the pharmacists, this person say, farm this, farm that, farm, you know, it doesn't really, make a difference. I think what matters here is the proficiency. The importance, okay? And we're talking about a profession that is very, 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 very important in medicine, okay? This is diagnostics.
Yeah.
You can't really practice medicine without diagnostics, okay? Yeah, there are some cases that could come and the doctor will just, collect the patient, ask questions, do one of two physical exams and administer medication, but that's just a few. When you have serious cases, there must be diagnosis, okay? And whether you're talking about therapeutic radiography or you're talking about diagnostic radiography, these are the important aspects of medicine. And that's why you see that every hospital, you hardly see any hospital that doesn't want to have the diagnostic center. And that is why there is proliferation, okay, in this area of medicine. One, it has a very wide-ranging economic importance. Because when you go to hospital, the bulk of the money that they receive comes from diagnosis.
Sure.
When you talk about CT scan, MRI, and all those imaging techniques, and so many other so many other imaging techniques that are tied to radiography, that's where the bulk of the money, and that's why many hospitals want to open up those things. And that's why there are laws and acts. There are federal acts that govern radiography. There are also state laws. Okay, like in Anambra State today, we passed the Health Facilities Monitoring and Accreditation Agency, okay, where the roles that are assigned to every profession are specific. You have to stay within your profession because people are trying to practice what they don't study.
Yes.
Okay, you can't dispense diagnostic imaging if you're not a radiographer.
Because I was coming to that question because, of course, in every profession we have quacks.
Yeah.
So do you have an association whereby you go, round sometimes and know how to fish out those quacks in this particular profession?
Yes, there's an association. I don't want to, maybe Chief Ken can come into that, but I have to talk to you as a lawmaker. We realized that this is happening. And then there's an executive bill that came to the House. It's called Anambra State Health Facilities Monitoring and Accreditation Agency.
Okay.
It's actually an executive bill, okay, meaning that it came from the government, developed by the Commissioner for Health. When it came to the House, of course, as lawmakers, we looked at it, then we made it broader, we added some things, corrected some things to make sure that it suits the quality delivery of medicine that is required from the Anambra. Okay, now, excuse me.
Sorry.
Now, that law specifies that if you are not a lab scientist, you cannot practice medical lab sciences. The same thing with ophthalmology and other things, and radiography, pharmacists, and all those things. Okay, and there's the reason because it tends to it seeks to eliminate quackery. Because when we talk about quackery, some people think that it's just in one aspect. There's quackery in all aspects of medicine. Okay, like you go to some hospitals where some people just go there, put in X-ray, put in ultrasound machine, get one lady and train them on how to use the probe and put this, and then they start to practice. They start to do ultrasound. That is wrong. It's a no-no. Okay, because they are not qualified to partake in that procedure. So, and that is the reason why that law was passed.
Okay.
It's now a law in Anambra State. And there is a monitoring committee. That's where I'm driving at. The law makes for the creation of a monitoring committee. That committee must have members of these specific professions. So they have a right to enter into any practice. For instance, a medical laboratory, science lab, they have a right to enter there, but they have to have a laboratory scientist. Okay, the same thing, they can enter into a medical diagnostic or imaging center where X-rays are dispensed and ultrasound procedures are done, but they have to have a medical radiographer registered by the association. Registered and licensed
by the association. Okay.
And the licensing body, because the association is different from the licensing body. Okay? So these things are law, and they are there to safeguard the lives of the people and also retain the quality of practice.
All right, thank you so much. So let's talk about the association and also look at the aspect of how we can promote to this particular profession via education and research.
Okay, the association the radiographic profession has regulatory body, just like every other profession. They call it RRGM.
Okay.
They have that, they are gazetted into law, into Nigerian law. They are radiographers, regulation body of Nigeria. They are everywhere. They are in Anambra here. But covering quackery is not just a one-man show. It must be holistic. Even you as a journalist, you can also help in covering this quackery. That's why Honorable touched some aspects. Because Nigeria, there are always shortage in manpower. For example, in our God, I'm aware that there are not many. And even if there are many, there are not so much logistics to be able to carry out all their duties. So it is now everybody's responsibility. Because in a sensitive profession like radiography, we are all supposed to be guiding it. Because first, we should know that this radiography deals with ionization radiation. And the ionization radiation is not all that good to play with.
Yeah.
It has to do with something that you can't see, but they can do a lot of things. So, calling quackery, we are all going to devolve. A doctor must also help. If a doctor wants to get it right, a midwife must also help. Lab scientists must also help. That is why it is good, like Anambra said, caste agrees. In Lagos, there's also a grid like that.
Okay.
So when everybody is involved, it helps to make everything workable to all of us. Coming to research and education, of course, as you see, this aspect of medicine is a very, very challenging one. One cannot do well in it without going into everyday research.
Yeah.
Because it is part of medicine that it actually is evolving every day.
Okay.
Radiography is something that has to do with technology. And technology always evolves. For example, this phone we are using now, in the next 5 years, you might not see this phone. And that's the same thing with radiography. Most of the machines we use, during our training are no longer the machine that is being used now. You must be up and doing. You must be up current in the research. And that is one thing that is good in Nigeria. We are not many in Nigeria, but radiographers that are in Nigeria are doing very well. I can tell you that. Because they have structure. The other again is also helping us. Every time and then, there is always a program.
Okay.
Universities also has a program. As I'm talking to you now, we have more than 40-something professors. During my school, we don't have up to 3 professors when I was in the school. So people are coming up, plus the fact that there is also so many, in Nigeria, we are always, we want a place where we get money, as in
yes, now that's the most important.
Money is important in everything we do. And when they see radiographers doing well, everybody want to key in.
Okay.
And so the education and society, radiographers are doing it very well. And I can tell you that, in fact, with this Jaguar syndrome, radiographers are now sourced everywhere in the world. Nigerian radiographers especially, because we are doing well.
The training, okay. All right, we'll still continue with our discussion right here in the studios of Anambra Broadcasting Service. Remember that we are talking about World Radiographic Day. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we still have so many other things that we'll be discussing on the show this morning. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the show. We are still looking at what is happening today, World Radiography Day. And the theme for this year is promoting the profession. That's the theme for this year commemoration. Now, let's go into what is happening today, the significance of this day. Why was this day actually set aside and, you know, tagged World Radiography Day? What's the significance of this day? Honorable.
Well, exactly on this day in the year 1895, radiography was discovered. X-ray was discovered by Professor Wilhelm Röntgen in Germany, a German professor of physics. So this day is set aside to create awareness on the subject of radiography and to let people know everything that has to do with radiography. Okay. So it's celebrated all over the world. Academics, researchers, students, professionals, practitioners in all aspects of radiography come together in various ways and means to express their understanding of the subject of radiography, talk about radiography, dispense awareness to people, and that is the significance. Like in Anambra today, it's being celebrated. Today we're in the studio. What we're doing right here is part of the creating awareness about radiography. I know that in the teaching hospital at Newi, they also have programs that is slated to celebrate this. In Abuja, it's also happening there. And several places in Nigeria and all over the world. If you go to the internet today, you see that, you know that it's World Radiography Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll still get to the point where you tell us about the activities that is going to happen in Anambra State lined up for the commemoration of this day. But before we do that, I want us to talk about something about this profession when we talk about radiation. What actually is the use of radiation?
Radiation, just like it was incidentally founded by our Röntgen, the man that discovered yesterday. Okay. It was a careless discovery. And today, it has helped us in different ways. And you can see that there's nothing you do in the hospital that is very critical that will not involve this aspect of medicine. Radiation, the one we use is the electromagnetic radiation. It falls into the X-ray. it is making use of this particular radiation to probe into our body. There are some of them that are very sensitive to bone. Some are sensitive to tissue. Some are sensitive to fluids in the body. So each aspect, because the profession continues to evolve, nowadays one can use the same radiation to image someone's brain, and every arteries and veins in the brain will be shown. If there's any problem in any of them, doctors will isolate the problem and remove it. So that this profession we're talking about makes use of this radiation, and because of the nature of this radiation, you have to be trained. You must be trained before you can handle it, because everything that has advantage has disadvantage. If you are not a trained radiographer, you might not know the behavior of this radiation we are talking about. And when you don't know the behavior, you can misuse it. Just like the man that discovered it. It took the life of him and his wife.
Okay, so in other words, it connotes danger. So what are the safety measures that need to be put in place when embarking on that?
That is why we advocate. That's why we come on air. We come to this program to tell the public that it is not just going to do X-ray or do CT scan or do MRI or mammography. You must make sure that the person that is going to discuss that to you is a trained professional.
Okay.
Because that person will know the deeds and the do's and don'ts. If you fall into a quack, it might give you actually the wrong dose, which might end up eating you instead of killing you. So there is a dose to each diagnostic or therapeutic quantity of radiation will be given to patient. And it's only trained personnel that will know the actual dose. So some of these hospitals that will think that it's just like a snapping picture. It is not just like snapping picture. It's more than that. You must know that this radiation you are using actually has characteristics. It has something that you must know before you can make use of it.
Okay, you want to add something?
Yeah, let me just comment on the dangers and safety of radiation. Like you asked, just to add to what he said.
Okay.
So, when we're talking about radiation, especially in regard to X-rays, gamma rays, and all those rays that we use, we're talking about, these are invasive radiation. They are dangerous to the human body if and when applied in the wrong doses. So, in radiography, to guarantee safety. So we make a combination of time, distance, shielding, and of course monitoring.
Okay.
So when you talk about time relates to the time of exposure. So depending on the part of the body that you want to image, like he says something about being sensitive to bones, sensitivity is different. He's talking about the absorption.
Okay.
Okay, so the absorption through flesh is different from the absorption through bone, because these are tissues, and of course through fluid in the body, water and blood and all those things, because these are different areas of the body that have different densities. So when the denser the area, the more dose you need to penetrate that area. Okay. So you need less dose to penetrate the flesh, you need more dose to penetrate the bone. And we call it attenuation and absorption, depending on if you're talking about ionizing radiation or non-ionizing radiation. When you talk about non-ionizing radiation, like ultrasound, you talk about attenuation. And when you talk about ionizing radiation, you talk about, like X-rays, about absorption. Okay? So, and these differentials in the absorption is what actually helps to create the image. Because when you image for instance, my hand, is not the same ray that passed through the bone that passed through the flesh. Okay, it's a complex mechanics, but that's how you create the image. So now what is done in radiography is that the time is calculated specifically, okay, to ensure that you give as little as possible. There's something you call Alara principle. Okay, so it has to do with giving the dose as little as possible, as reasonably possible. Okay, and then you talk about distance. The distance is the distance from the source of the radiation, which is the X-ray machine, okay, to the body, which is the object. So you try to keep the distance as far as possible. Okay, and then you also talk about shielding. So there's something we call lead shields. These are shields that are made of lead, okay, because lead is a very good absorber of radiation. So for sensitive parts of the body, like the genitals, like if you have to do X-ray on a male person, you have to, if you're doing X-ray that has to come down here, you have to make sure that the genitals are covered, protected. So you wear, and of course the person who is dispensing the radiation has to wear the same lead shield because you have to protect yourself. Okay, and then apart from wearing the shield, there is also the cubicle. Where, because these things, like I said, are evolving. Okay, so the same way the technology of the actual technique is evolving is the same way the technology that has to do. Talking
about the technology evolving, of course, this is a very complex profession, so to say. Now, how can a radiographer get himself acquainted with the change that keeps coming with technology?
Oh, that's why he talked about education and research.
Yeah.
So there is specialization. So when you graduate as a medical radiographer, you get your Bachelor of Science. Okay. Of course, you have to keep specializing. You have to keep going up. There are people who specialize in maybe there's actually a whole lot. And this, I took time to mention them before. Okay, so like if you go abroad, some people specialize just in MRI, magnetic resonance imaging. That's their specialty. Okay, and then other aspects. So the more you research, I'm happy to say that in Nigeria here, the association and the body responsible for the RRBN that he mentioned are doing very, very fine. They have ensured that there are different courses that are provided for people who want to update themselves.
Okay, that's very nice.
Yeah, in different aspects of radiography. So if you have interest as a professional, especially if you're in the practice, okay, you have to keep updating your skills. You have to keep updating your knowledge by taking these courses. Okay, you do your masters, you do their PhD programs. Okay, and then there are other stand-alone programs that you can also take, to get yourself updated. Today, there is also the use of AI, artificial intelligence, in radiography. Okay. Oh yeah, because radiography is the key here. As he said, this is the eye of medicine.
Yes.
You can't really practice medicine without radiography. It's absolutely impossible. Okay, because if you want to practice medicine in Nigeria and you remove diagnostics, then you're doing blind
everywhere
practice.
In the world.
Okay, remember, apart from therapeutic radiography, you also use radiography in some processes that are done in the hospital, like in surgery. Okay, for instance, in hip replacement surgeries.
Yes.
Okay, in joint surgeries, and so many other processes in medicine, like you use fluoroscopy. Okay, like when you use administer some processes that involve the administration of contrast media, okay, like an angiography, okay, like he talked about imaging the brain, okay, remember the vessels in the brain are very tiny vessels. Those arteries are very, very, very tiny. So where you have thrombosis, where you have aneurysms, you have blockade and all those things in the artery, okay, so when you do some form of medical imaging using what you call using this media I spoke about, you apply radiography, and through those, the doctors are able to visualize this. Okay, and most times it is done real time, and they perform these surgeries and corrective processes real time using radiography.
All right, so let's quickly talk about the activities lined up for the commemoration of World Radiography Day right here in Anambra State.
Okay, we have lots of activities, and you are all invited. Today is a day that we celebrate the profession that is giving us food and is helping the populace to regain their health. So it's worth celebrating. Here in Anambra, we are going to celebrate in Newi Teaching Hospital, our youth. We are also going to be celebrating in our individual clinics. For example, in my office, I have already announced slashing my grill for anybody that will come in to do any aspect of radiography.
Today?
Today, yes. Okay. I am giving out 50%.
50%. Okay.
Just to celebrate today. And that is how it is done everywhere that our people, our colleagues are. So today is indeed a very good, nice day that all of us have waited for it to come.
Okay, Honorable, what are you doing? Are you also giving 50% discount, or are you giving us money?
Well, I'm a lawmaker.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, so currently I don't run a clinic.
I know.
So I think it's for them that run clinics that could give a slash. But I think being here today is part of what I could do to help spread the message about the profession and celebrate this day.
All right.
We also, I didn't remember, there is this program going to hold here in the Radio FM.
Yeah.
We also have program in Blaze FM.
Today?
Today.
Okay. So. All right, you've heard from the professionals themselves, the radiographers, and of course we are joining them to, commemorate today, to talk about the importance of this day, and also to create awareness how sensitive and complex this particular profession is, and let our younger ones in the secondary schools to understand that, this is what this course is all about. So if they are free, if they want to study the course at the university, they will know the important things they need to acquire before being able to study it in a higher institution. And on that note, I want to say a very big thank you to Honorable Tony Mobike, member representing Agwatatu constituency and also chairman, Health Committee, Anambra State Health Assembly. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
And also Chief Ben Ezeme, the medical director, evidence-based diagnostics, ORCA. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, ma.
All right, that's it on the show this morning. Thank you so much for being part of it. My name is Chedema Oranwa. Have a lovely weekend.